Coming up on Tech Edge, it's all about
art.
Hi, I'm Guy Trainin.
I'm Allison High.
And this is Tech Edge. And today we're going to focus about art, and we're going to talk about some apps that help you create art and some apps that help you view art.
So I went ahead and loaded up the Pottery HD, and you see that when the screen loads, there are three selections. There is a Create, there's the Collection, and then there's an Inbox. The first thing that I want to show you is this Create, because it is a lot of fun. So you go in, and you can see that there's a hand moving up and down, and that there's a potter's wheel with a chunk of clay spinning around on it, and you actually do this just as you would on a potter's wheel. So you can manipulate what you're doing. If I want to hold it in here, you can see that I start to have my pottery kind of move around. If I want to make it wider, I can move my hands out. So this is a great way that if you're going to introduce pottery into your classroom, this is a great practice, and you don't have to buy the materials. The kids can play around with them. It's a lot of fun. You can do a lot of things with this. You can see you can move it around, and then what I want to do, if I'm done, if this is the piece that I want to create, you can see down here that it says firing, and I can actually go in and fire my piece. If I'm happy with my piece, I go into firing, and it gives you an option. Do I really want to do this, yes or no? I'm going to click yes, and it goes through the complete firing process. Shows the process for the kids, so what they can expect, and I'm 100% fired, so let's see what my piece looks like. So here's my finished piece. You can go in and you can arrange it how you want. So if I want to take a picture of it that way, as you can see, it goes right to the collection after you take that picture, and your art is on display. You can see up here that I have other pieces in my collection that I've already created. It's a fun app, and you can go in and you can actually sell your piece. It's a great app. It's one of my favorites. The other one that we're going to talk about today is called Origami. And it's exactly what it says it is. I know that a lot of art teachers like to integrate this maybe at the end of the year or maybe at the beginning when they're teaching their small lessons. And it's great. It goes step by step, and it teaches how to build different sets of origami. So we'll take a look. And there's only one selection, and it's lessons. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And you can see that it gives you just a few to choose from. The thing that I'm going to choose today is going to be the heart, and it has 8 steps. And as this loads up, you can see that it shows the completed piece. So you know what you're going to end up with. I'm going to go ahead and select Begin. And it goes step by step. So it says here, take a half sheet, a triangle, and then you go to the next step. Fold to meet the center line. Not only does it show that picture, it also has the words. If you need to redo a step, you can go back to the beginning. This is a great feature that you can kind of move forward and back.
As we think about art, or as I think about art, one of the great things that we've had since the advent of the internet is that museums have really shown up on the scene and started sharing collections with everybody. And that's really important because it's hard to get to the museum as a teacher. I mean, if we get once or twice a year, that's fantastic. But that's not enough for kids to learn to appreciate art and to really get to spend some time looking at art. And when you think about really, really great art, and if you want to stay parked in front of one piece for, I don't know, 40 minutes, just studying the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
You can't, because the teacher says, or the docent says, we need to move to the other one. So here's an opportunity that was really seized by museums. And what it gives us as teachers is really the ability to take our kids anywhere in the world to see any piece of art. The first one we're going to talk about is the Louvre. You can see that you can immediately go into artworks. And this is the first one that shows up, not surprisingly, the Mona Lisa. And if we go even deeper into it, we'll get the ability to get a close-up. This is sideways because, again, it's an iPad. But you can actually spend some time just looking at the face and wondering what people saw in her for all those many years. Here it is. get more information. So this is detailed information about the artist and the piece of art. You can see that there are different pieces of art, and these are all very, very famous pieces of art, and explore all of them from the Louvre. The other way to visit the Louvre is, this was choosing artwork, but you can actually walk through the palace of the Louvre and see the different pieces, because the Louvre itself is a piece of art, and you can actually enter them and walk through them as you walk along. And this is Art Periods HD, and this is an example of the other kind of arts viewing app, and that is, it's not organized by museum, but it's organized in this case by art periods. This is fantastic to use if you want to look at a specific period. Let's say you look at Cubism, and what you get are multiple examples from that period, so you can actually see multiple examples from multiple artists and multiple museums that display that.
This is one of the apps that is focused around the museum. So a lot of what comes up is actually museum based. Along the bottom you can see it says calendar, tours, art, info, and then there's more. So I'm going to click on the kids collection just because this is one that I kind of like. You can see that it shows fun ways for kids to explore works of art. Going back to the main page of this app, you can see that at the bottom, besides the tours, there's art. And much like some of those other ones that we just showed you, you can search the collections, you can see what's on view, you can look at specific artists, art terms, which is something that I like. I like art, but I'm not familiar with a lot of the terms. Since this is a museum-based app, you can see that when you go to info, this gives you more information on the actual museum.
We're going to show you 3 apps, some that are easy to use, some that are a little bit harder, 2 that actually teach you how to draw, and 1 that is just fun to use, 1 or 2 that are just fun to use so you can use it wherever you go. The first one we're going to talk about is called Finger Paint. You can see the colors here on the left side. You can also turn it upside down. And this determines how thick your pencil is going to be as you go through. So this is, and you can change colors, and this is all it does, is it allows you to draw, right? And quickly create something. Sharing is done here. You can either save it to the camera roll and then it's saved as a picture, or email it to somebody and you're done.
This is called Drawcast, and you can see that along the bottom it's got some features. This first one over here is what your pencil will actually look like. You can see that you can pick your paintbrush size to large to small, the brush strength, so if you want it to be light or dark you can move that back and forth. And you can see that you can select it. I can change my background, so if I want to change my background to red, I can select that. And you can see that all it takes is you to touch it. If I were to draw, I picked out my color, and you can see that this is just like the other one. It's very smooth. You can change the width of each stroke that you do. This one, you can blur some of your work, so if you want to blend it in, you can do that, and it's very light, which means you can do very small details. Something else along the bottom is this erase, so if you want to erase everything that you've done, you can do that. Up here, you can see that it drops down and it takes everything away, so you don't see any of the features that it can use. You can reset it, you can zoom it, and this is something that's also nice. You can change the layers, so if you are teaching more in-depth ways to work on art, you can change lots of features on this.
And the last one I want to talk about is called Art Studio. Art Studio, if Finger Paint was our simplest one, Art Studio is our most complex one. It allows you to do a lot of things that are very, very sophisticated. And this is just a drawing canvas, so you can draw. If you press that little arrow, you get all the options, so now you can do a lot more. You can, of course, select what kind of instrument you can use, from the pencil that I use that you can control the width is, to a paintbrush, to just spray paint, So you can have a spray paint effect, for example. Of course, you can select the colors, etc. And you can see that there are lots of options going through that. You can also do layers. So there are those layers that we talked about in the other program. And on top of all of that, you have lessons. There are a few specific lessons in this. And what they do is if you start a lesson, let's say on how to draw a cube, this is a lesson I've started, but you can see that it walks you through the steps. So you go to step 1, and it shows you that's what you do. You can draw this, so you draw this, right? And it immediately gives you the line drawing tool, so you can actually create that. And the next stop will be drawing the next piece, so I can do that, etc. So it can walk kids through, or adults in my case, through creating a specific kind of drawing. In this case, just drawing a cube. In other cases, how to draw a face, etc. So you can do quite a bit with this. So until next time, this is Tech Edge.
Thank you.